Hello and welcome to another edition of This Week in Indie Comics, where dyslexia is definitely something I suffer from. My name is Mr. Anderson, and I am excited to be bringing you guys a program that will talk to you about the happenings this week in Indie Comics, which you can find right here by clicking on this link, which is spelled correctly. This Week in Indie Comics. We're going to start off with our Kickstarter talk episode, issue 21. Week 21, we fly with Lily into war, meet the Sword Maidens, and play cat and mouse with a new sidekick. What does all that mean? You're going to have to watch the video to find out. The Indie Comic Con Highway Indie Creators Roadmap is a mega issue. You got to check it out. We're going to be in Orlando bringing MegaCon some awesome indie comic blood that it needs to be able to be at Comic-Con, right? We're going to talk about who's going to be there in just a second. Back and before they're gone, this is issue 21, White Lilies for Gentlemen's Sidekicks Who Can Play Cat and Mouse. Sounds familiar. We're going to figure out why in a few minutes. Stabity Pool is coming to MegaCon this weekend. And of course, congrats to the creative team behind Stealth, the comic book series, for their successful launch recently. The Comic-Con Highway is going to find itself going through Michigan to Cherry Capital Comic-Con, which will feature Dirk Manning, Pat Kowal, and Rob Humphrey. If you're in Chicago, you're going to check out Sticky Graphic Novels with Dave Lazario in booth 9 on the third floor balcony of the International Mr. Leathers Market in Chicago. If you're going to be in Florida, the only place to be is in Orlando, with the MegaCon event. That's right. So at this mega event, you're going to have a mega amount of indie creators, including and featuring me, Mr. Anderson, the advocating voice for indie comics, and apparently, as you learned earlier, dyslexic as fuck, Stabity Bunny, and his creator, Richard Rivera, Eric Hodson, Fire Girl, Natalie Mankin, David Brine, Charles Watson, Martha Schwartz, Brian Wenzeloff, Austin Janwanski, The Kitchen Killers, Katrina Textor, Ross Hughes, Andrea Lozarno, sorry, I always get that wrong, Molinari, and more. I'm working on that name. I'm going to get it, Andre. I'm going to get it. And if you're in Texas, check out Davy Jones, Jason Schultz, Douglas Brown, Rob Molinar, I'm getting it, and Harold White, who is not actually tabling, but doing two panels, one of which I'll be at. That's right, I'm in Florida and Texas. How? You're going to have to check out that panel at 3:30 in Houston to see what's going on. That's on Saturday. Now, we want to talk quickly about educating and advocating for our special needs children who have autism through the R4AU Autistic Jedi campaign. Autism Awareness R4AU is dedicated to our daughter, Tori, the Autistic Jedi. Our mission is to advocate for awareness and acceptance. The verbal and nonverbal alike deserve a voice for equality. We will be that voice. Contact us for information on how you can help us raise awareness for research and funding and better understanding of autism. And remember, speaking of supporting, it only takes $1 to support any creator with a Kickstarter right now, as well as going to Comic-Cons this weekend and supporting them in person. Kickstarter for the Independent Creator is the second edition, a practical, informative guide to crowdfunding, your key to building a successful next Kickstarter. White Lily, issue number 2, World War II comic book mini-series. Issue 205, our heroines enter their first combat, and Lily becomes the first woman in world history to score a confirmed kill. Also on Kickstarter, The Gentleman, number 1, Darkness of the Void. Oliver Solomon, a.k.a. The Gentleman, finds the next case to be a tale of Lovecraftian horror. Superscript is this amazing new tool, and it's the comic book writer's sidekick. Seriously. It's the first text editor built solely for writing comic books and graphic novels. Writers, meet your new sidekick. For reals. Cat and Mouse, brought to you by Roland Mann. The first issue of a issue miniseries set in the city of New Orleans, an action, crime, drama, comic miniseries that is going to blow your mind, made by just a tremendously talented pool of creators who all met at Malibu Comics. The Power Knights, number 4, once known as the Tyrants of the Galaxy, the Power Knights are now inspired by two brothers to become heroes on Earth. Go West, Collected Edition, a 96-page graphic novel written by the one, the only, Garrett Gunn. New to the program, Sword Maidens. It's for adults only. Sword Maidens, swords and sorcery in the barbarian age. The exotic and erotic adventures of the Sword Maidens. Walls, a tale of medieval horror. Walls is a historical fiction horror set in the era of the Black Plague. Galaxia number 1, Freako God. Galaxia's Fallout meet Borderlands in a world 100% made of snow, ice, and weirdos. Be ready to get your heart frozen. And if you're ready to enter the ring, enter it on Kickstarter with Bobby Fulton and the Fantastics, 1980s wrestling royalty. Remember pro wrestling in the 1980s, the hair, the flashy costumes, the swagger. No tag team personified. There it goes. It all like the Fantastics. That word personified almost made me tap out. But you don't have to tap out. Get to Kickstarter and support Bobby Fulton today. And speaking of support, this is an interesting Kickstarter. It's a Kickstarter to fund a comic. Well, it's not even a Kickstarter, to be honest with you. It's a T-shirt campaign that is funding the comic book Terracon, one T-shirt sale at a time. The Phantom Hawk returns as the Phantom Hawk's adventures continue in this new ongoing series from Apogee Comics. Also, something new to our program, The Elk Mountain, a 64-page graphic novel about the role superheroes play in the communities they defend, as well as how fear can tear communities apart. Brand new to our show as well is Crossings 2 and 3, new issues in this paranormal series. An agony goth princess haunts the rookie train conductor who ran her over. Paranormal couples, counseling, anyone? Cthulhu Kids, first edition, Terror and Mythos Madness, a Lovecraftian school for the naughty offspring of mythos characters. Join Kid Cthulhu, Sydney Shagagoth, and the rest of the gang. Ruby and the Warriors of Dion. Number 1, an epic fantasy tale about a young mage on a quest for vengeance. Check out one of the most mind-blowing new games out there. It's crazy. You got to check it out. Reign of Cthulhu. Augmented reality. Game Reign of Cthulhu combines T-shirts, mobile devices, and augmented reality into one fun-filled, immersive Lovecraftian gaming experience. Project Axis is a serialized science fiction book about a young man's journey to recover the identity he lost. The first issue 2, set in the 1900s Philadelphia, The Fist, is the tale of Riley Reese, a working-class stiff with an affection for vigilante justice. Hop on over or beat your way over with your fists to Kickstarter. Well, don't beat anyone. Don't punch anyone. Just click the link and go support The Fist and let him do all the punching. That's on Kickstarter now. Homeward is not a Kickstarter. It's an interesting new way. It's a different way. You got to check the link to fully understand it. It's on a different type of platform. Never seen before, but it's worth the effort of looking. Click the link for Homeward is a science fiction comic book for the youth. Now, of course, all of us are enjoying the Memorial Day weekend. We get to go to barbecues and hang out with our families, and we have to truly understand that that's because there were such amazing human beings who sacrificed so much. And we want to take a moment this weekend and remember the veterans who didn't make it home. And for that, I'm just going to give us a moment of peace on the video. A moment of silence, I mean. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to ask you to advocate for veterans. And one of the ways that you can become an advocate for veterans is to check out The Veteran's Wife and see how you can support our veterans today. Thank you to all the veterans. We truly appreciate your service. We would like to give an extra special thank you to the veterans that don't want to be recognized, the silent Stoic veterans, for all the horrors that they have seen in war. Is to them nothing to be thanked for. They don't put it out there for the world to know, for they are now truly struggling here at home, battling a new war. We want you to know that you are not alone. You are loved and appreciated, and you will always be our heroes, even if you refuse the title. Thank you for tuning in to This Week in Indie. We would ask that you go to Kickstarter and support creators. We would ask that you spend some time at Comic Cons this weekend supporting indie creators. And we would ask that you guys enjoy your time off, but take a moment to reflect on those who have given us as much as they could so we could enjoy this weekend. This has been This Week in Indie. My name is Mr. Anderson, and I am the advocating voice for indie advocates.